Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Mama Birds. I'm Robin and I am not ready to film this, but we're filming it. There's something in my pantry that has spoiled or gone rancid and I can smell it. So we have to deal with this right now and I don't have another choice. So you're getting super raw footage here and we're just gonna try and figure out what it is. And then we will circle back and do the rest of the pantry cleanup and organization, and then I'll show you my little pantry. But first we got to deal with that issue that's in there and I have no idea what it is. This was a bit of an impromptu video and I was not ready to do it. We were planning on heading out the door in 5 minutes, but that just wasn't happening. So I get in there and very, very quickly, you can see me smiling. I've already found what the problem was. So I just picked out as much as I could that wasn't touching or affected by the mess. There was definitely a mess on the floor and we get it cleaned up and taken care of. But I'm just trying to pick up what I can that isn't affected. And then here is the damage. And these are sweet potatoes that I forgot about. Sorry, you can't really see that, but there is a bit of liquid on the floor there. So I'm just going to clean up what I can. I'm going to just vacuum the area around and then we're going to spray this with just some all-purpose cleaner and get it cleaned up. Those were actually sweet potatoes that we picked up from Desert Hills. I actually forgot to show you those in the haul, so that's interesting, but hence why I forgot that they were even in here. So they were a couple weeks old and that bottom one was absolutely mush and liquidy. So that was pretty gross. And I'm really glad that I found it on the bottom shelf. Had it been on the top shelf, then we could have had a serious mess in our hands. So not so bad, all things considered, but we're gonna get it cleaned up right now. On this bottom shelf, I usually keep things like my flour, sugar, any sort of cereal or larger bulky type items. I have been keeping my potatoes down here and my sweet potatoes obviously, but it is not working and I've recently come to the conclusion that it is way too warm inside this pantry to be keeping any sort of fresh vegetables, and I'm also concerned about how warm it is to keep any of my home canned products. So I really need to get a thermometer in there and figure out how warm it actually is. Here I am showing you the larger bulky items as well as my vinegar. I forgot about my vinegar, but yeah, we're just wiping everything down, making sure that it's not covered in any sort of gunk. There's a bag of chips right there for you, but I usually chuck my snacks down there too. Okay friends, so like I said, I don't have time to do the rest of the pantry, but we are going to tackle all of this in this video. So, my kid and I are going to a art class. It's kind of like a arts, crafts, sensory, toys class thing. There's so much stuff for him to do, but at least it's a stimulation thing for, I think it's like 2 hours, hour and a half, something like that. And then we'll come back and tackle the rest of this pantry. I also need to do a bit of a grocery shop and we have to restock some items in this pantry. This is my working pantry that I use all the time and that I am constantly going through and using on a daily basis. I also have what I call my overstock or bulk food storage. It's just on a shelf downstairs in my basement, which I pull those bulk items from to restock this pantry. So I don't do it every week, but I do it on a regular basis. So we're constantly cycling through that food. And there are a few items in this pantry that I know are needing to be restocked. So we're gonna do that with you as well. We are back from our outing this morning. We are going to get started right away on the pantry because I only have so much time while my kiddo naps that I'm gonna have free space on the floor. So I'm gonna get started right away. I just poured myself a cup of cold coffee. I literally just poured this and I already have a bug in it. Wow. And then I need to put dinner in the slow cooker. Did I already say that? It's already 1 o'clock, so that's gonna be pushing it. So I'm gonna get that in the slow cooker with some barbecue sauce and we're gonna have pulled pork sandwiches for dinner. So that'll be taken care of. Then we will do our restock on some of my staples. I'm going to show you what I do, and for some of you this will be on repeat, but there are a few items in my house that I keep in bulk and I have to restock my working pantry or my countertop on a weekly or semi-weekly basis. So it's been a day and it's only 1 o'clock, so let's get started. This is 2 pork tenderloins. I'm gonna put both of them in the slow cooker. I'm literally just gonna dump both of these into the slow cooker. I'm not doing anything fancy. I am not cleaning them up or nothing. I'm just gonna separate them so that they do have their own sort of space to cook. And to the crock pot, I'm gonna add a bit of soy sauce. Not too much. That was maybe like 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna use the rest of this barbecue sauce. It's probably not enough, but usually when I make this, I'll do half a bottle of this size of barbecue sauce. So I'm just gonna put a touch of water in this and get all of that out of there. Okay, and because I put that water in there, I'm actually not gonna put any other liquid. Usually I would put like beef broth or chicken broth or something like that, some sort of vegetable stock in here just to give it some more liquid. I'm gonna give it a shot of Worcestershire. And that's pretty much it. You can add other seasonings if you want. I'm gonna put a little bit of pepper in here. We don't need any salt. You could also put garlic in here if you wanted, but that's all I'm doing. So I'm gonna put the lid on it and get it on. So my plan of attack for this is to pull everything out of my pantry. I've cleaned off my stove space, so I'm gonna use that for countertop space. I'm also gonna use the floor. It's not gonna be in the shot, but for some of the heavier stuff, and then I can use the counter over here. And then any of the items that I am going to be restocking, some of the items that we were talking about, I'm actually gonna put on this far side of the counter because there are a few of them. So here we go. This is just one of those projects that has been lingering and been on my to-do list, and the spoiling of those sweet potatoes was the kick in the butt that I needed to get it done. So I was super excited to get started on this once we got home and my kiddo went down for a nap, because it was just something that I was gonna need some extra time to really take care of without having to be hands-on with him. So this is long overdue. It's something that I probably should be doing on a more regular basis, but I haven't been doing it, and I haven't actually done it since we moved in. So some of the items that I am pulling out of this pantry are significantly older than I thought they were. Okay, so that's everything out of my pantry. Everything that you can see on the counter here is now out of my pantry. Just quickly showing you that it is totally empty. I even had to get a stool to get up there and get everything out. But we will end up refilling this. But I just wanted to go through a few of the things that I have on this counter because I didn't even know they existed and they're so old. One of them being this massive thing of variety pack oatmeal. We really don't actually enjoy this, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I can't donate it because it's prepackaged basically, so I might post it online to one of my mom groups and see if any mamas want it. This is all of my extra spices that I use on a regular basis. This is just some of my kiddo snacks in the extra bag that I pulled out of there. Okay, so we've got all of the things. There's pasta here. This pack of lasagna is ancient. It definitely needs to get used up. But I'm getting meal ideas from these things. This was from July. I mean, pasta takes forever to go bad, but it's from July. It's a special edition one. Just more noodles, pasta, cat food, protein powder. There's some chicken soup and mushroom soup here. I'd like to keep a couple of these on hand, but I don't typically cook with them a lot, so I probably won't buy much more until we get through it. We've got some bouillon. This is a Brita filter, some other little canned items. This is my last jar of canned beans previous, so that these ones are from 2024. We just canned another round, but I can link that video for you if you're interested in that. But anyway, that's from my previous canning. This is just some hoisin sauce that I enjoy. Coconut milk, some graham crackers. This is just some cake mix, some crackers, more crackers, powdered sugar. There's oats in this big container. This is a favorite. Spoiler alert, we're definitely going to do this recipe one day, but I'll show you how to do it. Coconut oil, peanut butter, brownies in a mix. I guess I'm spoiling it again, but we're going to do some premixes that I'm going to share with you guys. Pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, more crackers. This is soy sauce. I actually had to open the jar and smell it. I don't know if you caught that, but it is soy sauce. This is the last of the soy sauce that I have, so I do have to restock that. I do buy it in bulk, and it is shelf stable, so it is something that I keep in a mason jar, and it's totally fine. Never had any issues. This is just some leftover cranberries from our road trip, so I'm probably going to chuck them back into the larger bag or into a smaller container for my kiddo to snack on this week. Oil. And then we are getting into some of the items that I need to restock. So this is powdered sugar right here, and this is powdered sugar right here. So I've got two of them, and we're gonna consolidate those. So I'm actually gonna grab this one right here. Steel cut oats, this is a brand new bag, and this whole canister is full. So I'm actually gonna take this downstairs because we don't need that and that container up here right now. It's just taking up space. Coconut flakes. This is the last of the coconut flakes that I have. We're just gonna refill the canister. This is the coconut oil, so we're gonna refill from our large canister into this. Sugar we're gonna refill, coffee we're gonna refill, salt we're gonna refill. This is instant coffee. I pulled this out of here because I actually have a jar under my counter, and this is extra, and I'm probably gonna put that in my camping bin, but this doesn't need to be in my pantry, so that's why I pulled it out. Here's our coconut flakes, so we're gonna consolidate those two. Cocoa powder we're also gonna consolidate. This is just some gravy mixes. I put them here because I'm probably just gonna take these downstairs and just keep one or two up here. I buy these when they go on sale. They're a great addition to sauce. They're very high in salt, so I don't typically use a whole packet, but they're a great addition for sauces, and I really enjoy putting them in my meatballs. So if you're looking for, you know, a little boost in flavor for your meatballs, try this onion one. It's really great. I've got a couple of them. There's cheese ones we're not really huge fans of, but I'll find a way to use them eventually. This is just an extra mayo. I like to keep one in my pantry up here because I go through quite a bit of it. I would love to be able to make my own mayo, but I'm just not there right now. Extra beans, and these are marshmallows. These are gonna go downstairs into our bulk area because we have enough upstairs. And then this is just some baking stuff. So baking soda, baking powder, cornstarch. You can see I need to restock on that, so I'll put that on my list. This is home canned cherries that we did together. I can link that video. Here's our salsa that we did together. I can link that for you too. And this is the cocoa powder. So, oh, and here's some, like, what do you call it? Vanilla icing. I bought a couple of these when they went on sale because I was going to use them to top my son's cupcakes and birthday cake, but I never ended up using them. I ended up just making my own buttercream frosting with that powdered sugar, and so I have these left over, but that's fine. They're gonna take forever to go bad anyway. I mean, it's just a sugary treat, yeah, like a whole year before they go bad. I think I have 3 of them, so we'll end up using them somewhere in my coffee. So this is the chaos that we are gonna deal with right now. You guys, I love storing things in glass mason jars. It is absolutely my favorite way to store food. And now that I have this new fancy vacuum sealing tool, I am absolutely going to try and switch over all of my storage items into glass mason jars if I can, for the most part. There are definitely some things that I am going to continue storing in my larger plastic containers, but I love the look of these items in a mason jar, so I'm going to try my best. This one jar of beans here, I was really having a tough time. I thought it was the lid, and so I switched lids and it just wasn't sealing properly, so I was having a bit of a tough time. I have found that the regular mouth sized lids, you can see me just checking the jar here, trying a new lid, but I found that the regular mouth size definitely seals better and it holds a seal better, so maybe that is what I'm going to do moving forward, is using my regular mouth size jars for storage and then my wide mouth jars as canned food that I'm actually preserving and cycling through my actual canned food. I mean, this is going to be a work in progress, and it's definitely going to take me some time to really get everything to where I want it to be, but we're moving in the right direction, and I guess that is the takeaway, is doing something is better than doing nothing, and that is kind of my motto right now. If I can get one thing done, then that makes me happy. If I can get 2 things done, then bonus. And some days I get nothing done. And that's okay, because every once in a while I will have that day where I can get more than one thing done. So on this day, we definitely tackled a huge project, a huge burden that I've been dealing with on a regular basis, because it's just clutter in my life and I have to deal with it every single day. So I was super stoked about getting all this sorted. This is my salt container. I've showed you guys this one before. These jar sizes are similar to a jam size, so they are 250 mils, but they are, typically used for salmon or something that's a little bit more chunky, like relish or something like that. I use them for my salt and pepper jars. I have used them to can food in, and they're fantastic. This is the garlic that I got from Costco. Super fan of that, and it was inexpensive, so even bigger fan. Yeah, there's just so many things that I'm going through here. I decided to just chuck these plastic bags of icing sugar just right into that container and moved on from it. But this was the jar that got me freaked out, basically, about the temperature of my pantry, and I'm going to tell you why. I just wanted to share. I just filled my coconut oil here. And the coconut oil in my canister that I fill from was actually more loose than the one that was in the jar, which I found very interesting. So that means that my pantry is very warm. So I have to really consider what it is that I'm storing in there moving forward, because I don't know why it's so hot. I know it's warm in our house, but it shouldn't be that warm in that pantry. So I need to keep an eye on that. But coconut oil is such a great moisturizer. I was just going to throw this in the sink, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I'll just rub it on my hands. But if I didn't explain it to you, that might have looked kind of weird. So coconut oil is absolutely one of the best hydrating things that you can put on your skin. And I have really struggled with some like eczema or some sort of some sort of irritation like that on my hands specifically. I'm always using them. They're always in water. They're always in soap or bleach or, something that they are getting a lot of wear on. And I've found that coconut oil has been my savior. So that's why I bought this huge thing. I don't typically cook a lot with it. I do cook our pot stickers in coconut oil, but for the most part, I use this for my skin. So this one is for cooking. I do have a smaller container that I pull from if I need a little bit of lotion, but you just rub it in your hands, and it's absolutely beautiful and wonderful, and it smells good. So everything's going back into the pantry or downstairs for my overstock storage. We're getting our sugar done and our flour topped up, and I'm gonna do coffee in a minute. All of the things on this counter end up going back to a home, whether it be in my pantry or into a space where I am going to take it downstairs and put into my storage. Here I'm doing coffee. This is something I actually have to do on a weekly basis for sure, because that canister that I filled, we go through on a weekly basis around my place. So that one coffee container I'm filling all the time. The rice one I only do about once a month, but I really like this basmati and we buy it all the time. The other tip that I have, sorry, you either get to see my face or you get to see what I'm doing. The other tip I have about buying in bulk and using a rotating system like I'm doing is that I always leave at least a couple servings worth of whatever it is that I'm using from my bulk there. So if I go through my canister of rice and I go downstairs and there's only a couple servings left, it's on my mind right away as a priority. I gotta stock up rice over the next, you know, however many meals I have left in that bag. Whereas if I were to put that full bag of rice into the canister and then have nothing in my bulk storage, I'm gonna forget, because by the time I go through that, it's gonna be like a month later. And so by keeping at least 1 or 2 servings of rice for us in my downstairs space, it's a gentle reminder for me, ooh, I gotta get rice, but not leaving me hanging if I do need some. So that's another tip. Lots of tips today. Here's where we're at. We still have a few things on the floor down here, but that's okay. Again, I've been pulling my spices and just replenishing as we went. You saw with the salt and the pepper. So that's my jar sealer bag, so I'm not gonna get rid of that yet, but so anyway, this is what we have left. I've got some cornbread mix. I might actually make that for dinner tonight with the pulled pork. Some random crackers. These are cake mixes. These are just box cake mixes. I keep these on hand in a pinch if I need a sweet treat or if I, you know, need something quick. And those are a good option. They're inexpensive and they last forever, obviously. So those I'm probably going to just chuck back into this upstairs pantry, because to be honest, I want to get rid of them. I need to cycle through that because moving forward, I would like to try and make my own. So we're going to experiment with some different cake mixes and see what we can do about that. Then we have this canned food. This is all, you guys, this is all I have for prepackaged canned food. I have 1 can of beans, a couple cans of tuna, and 5 cans of cream of mushroom soup. Like I said, I don't use it very often, but I do like it in some recipes and I do use it. But I have realized how easy it is to make my own sort of cream sauce or Alfredo sauce or whatever it is that I would have typically been using something like this in. So I'm not buying, I just made the decision now that I'm probably not gonna buy any more of this. I will probably keep a couple on hand, just like I said, in a pinch if I need it. But moving forward, I'm probably not gonna buy any of this. So realistically, canned tuna and 1 can of tomato sauce is really all I have in there other than these beans. And again, beans, this isn't something that I typically buy because I like to can my own beans. But in a pinch, if I need it, then these are delicious and wonderful. And, you know, I'm probably gonna buy more of those because they're delicious. But my kid will eat them, so I'm happy about it. Now, if I can get my kid to eat my beans, that would be wonderful. This is sesame seeds. I'm probably gonna put this in with my spices, some random cat food, some random juice boxes, and a Brita filter. Like, that's it. Oh, and our protein powder is in the back. But for this to be what's left, I have an entire shelf that is completely empty. This shelf is hardly touched. I mean, hardly. I'm trying to do my baking stuff and then my like go-to snacks and treats. Those two, that salsa and cherries, I think I'm actually gonna pull those out of there just because of the temperature in here. It's a little bit warm and I'm not sure about that. So I just don't want them to go rancid and end up being a mess. So, but yeah, look at this. There's so much extra room, and look it up here. I can't get over it. I can't get over how much room there is in here, and what I have left to put in it just won't even take up this space. So that's very exciting. I just realized that I don't have any of Mike's cereal in here. So I am gonna store the boxes of cereal down here, but I'm gonna put my cereal canisters here. So that's what is gonna take up the shelf. I forgot about the spice box too. So there isn't as much space as I realized, but still way more than I thought. So what I did with that big box of oatmeal is I just put what I am gonna keep out into a Ziploc bag. I can't donate this. So I mean, I could just chuck it out, but that would just be so wasteful. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. So I'm gonna put this into the pantry. We'll work through it, but now that I can actually see it, I can, you know, kind of cycle through. I picked 2 of each flavor. So there's apples and cinnamon, a plain, and then brown sugar and whatever, maple brown sugar. I'm gonna put 6 of these into our camping bin, and then we'll have them for breakfast when we go camping next time. One last look at the final reorganization of the pantry. I'm super happy with it. There's lots more room. Not that I'm gonna put anything in it, but there is more room so I can actually see things and I can navigate around this. So I'm super happy with it. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it so much. Consider subscribing if you're new. We've got lots of other cleaning projects coming up in the next little bit and more food projects too. So I'm working on it. I'm trying. I initially thought that I was gonna do 1 video a week, and then I started to get a rhythm and I was like, you know what, I can do 2 a week. And now I'm back to I don't know if I can do 2 a week. So bear with me. If I can get 2 out to you each week, I'm definitely gonna try, but it might be 1 next week. We've got lots of stuff going on in our life and back to school. So there'll be lots of time where I am going to be out of the house now with my kiddo. I'm super excited to share that with you too, because that's kind of exciting. I'm learning how to kind of teach my child. So it's kind of exciting. Anyway, stick around and we'll catch you in the next one.